To tell you that even these elections that we are having, there are many people who do not give a hoot about it.
Okay, hold your thought. We have Solomon Ajuziogu, who is standing by. He was at one of the polling units where the candidates actually voted and sorting and counting had been concluded. Solomon, thanks so much for joining us. Bring up to the minute information what the situation is where you are. First and foremost, where are you currently and what's the situation there?
Yeah, yes, Ibrahim. I'm at Idia. I'm inside Idia College, Idia College for Girls. It's a girls' grammar school here in Iyaro, Benin City, right in the heart of Benin, in Oredo, local government area. And here we have three wards being collated here, wards 4, 5, and 6. This is the collation center for these three wards. Sorting and counting has ended at the polling unit levels and at the ward levels, and so we are moving on to gradually to the local government levels. From here, once the results from here are collated, then they move on to the local government, where another round of collation and sorting and reconciliations will take place. So it's a full house here from wards 4, 5, and 6 in Oredo local government area of Edo State.
So the sorting and counting there, how did the people react to the declaration of that polling unit's results? Did they take it well? Was there any protest, any form of protest?
No. In Ipobaoka, some of the places we went in Ipobaoka local government and Oredo, you know, significantly, these are the two biggest voting local governments in the whole of Edo State. Ipobaoka has 400,000 plus, while Oredo has 370 something thousand voters. So, but the turnout wasn't what they expected, because some of the polling units didn't even have up to 100 people voting there. But there was no violence. One interesting thing was that it was peaceful. There was no trouble at all. The only place where it seemed that something was about to happen was at Itohan school for girls in Ipobaoka, where we had some 9 polling units, and in one of the polling units, unit 38, I don't know if that fellow was a party agent. An individual just walked up when it was time to sort and count the ballot and wanted to snatch the ballot papers, but then the polling officer there resisted him until then the security officers came around and took him up and, apprehended him and took him away. Apart from that, there's been no incident. The winners are celebrating. Those who got the highest votes in their polling unit are celebrating and singing, and the others aren't reacting. Everybody is eating the losers are probably eating the humble pie, while the winners are celebrating, at least in this area. When results begin to come from the other polling units in the other wards, then we can begin to get a clearer picture of things. But this is the way it is in just a big part of Edo South. Don't forget, we have other places in Edo South like Ego, like Ovia, North and South, and the rest of them. We still have in Orion one still coming in later on, and when those results begin to trickle in, then we'll know the outline of what the results will tell us.
Right, Solomon, before I let you go, the next line of action is for them to move the ballot box to the next place, the next location. Do you see substantial guarding of this ballot box to as they take it to the next place?
Now, the security layers getting into this place getting into Iyaro College is something else. Vehicles are not even allowed to drive past the entrance of Iyaro College because you have soldiers manning the place. Even with INEC duty stickers, you still not be allowed until you have to step out of your car. You have to do proper identification. We were almost turned back until I had to step out of the car to explain, and they were like, okay, it's media. So in fact, it took the intervention of a higher officer to let me pass through and a few other persons. If you have nothing to do here, you won't be able to gain entry because the security layer is very high. So, and what is going to happen is by the time they finish the collation here and they are moving to the local government level or to whatever the layer will be from here, it will then, this security agents will then have to go with them. The soldiers, the police guys, the secret service guys who are with them, the civil defense guys, the police, are all going to go in that convoy with these ballot material, with these voting materials to safeguard them to the location where they will be, and they would also be there with them to ensure that there is fidelity with the materials and they are not tampered with.
All right, TVC News senior correspondent Solomon Ajuziogo live for us at Oredo in Edo State. Thank you so much for that. Keep close tabs for us on developments there in Edo State. Thank you. Let me quickly bring it to the studio. Biko, I want you to tie what Solomon, the feed we got from Solomon with to what you're saying before we change tack to talking about other issues, concerning Edo State election. Looks like the people were happy with the process, and they also guarding their votes to ensure the integrity of the elections. Vis-a-vis saying, vote buying and all of that, and people not being willing to ensure good governance, or probably waiting for better leadership. Do you not see some sort of, somewhat leadership playing out there among the people?
The issue is, what is the percentage of people exercising their franchise in this election? You look at the number of registered voters. INEC expected a little more than 2 million people to take part in this election. Because I think 2,203,000 or so, 2.2 million votes are at stake. But you and I know that the turnout has been very poor, and you are not going to see anything close to 2 million votes in terms of the total votes cast. It's not going to even come close to that. That is concerning, and it's something that I believe that over time we must find a way to change. Why do people take the pain to register and be part of an election only to refuse to show up on the day? Why put yourself through all that pain, queuing up, going to registration points very early, sometimes as early as 4 a.m. people had lined up to register for the election, but on election day, you don't see them. And that's why I'm saying that a lot of things are tied to this. People do not think that it's worth all that trouble.
Right.
There is a connection between how the people feel and how they show up on election day. I think there is a connection there. If a leader is popular, you sense that more people will come out to make sure that they support him with their votes. If you look at what transpired during the presidential election in Borno State, compared with what happened during the governorship election, the difference is like night and day. In terms of the number of people who came to vote for the governor.
That's right.
It was quite huge. And then political education, political awareness.
What's your awareness?
Apart from Kano, I don't think there's any state in Nigeria where the political awareness of the people is sufficient. Kano, in the senatorial election, Kano people will record the votes that you hardly find recorded even in governorship elections in some states. More than 400,000 people voting for a senatorial candidate.
Population is also a factor, you know.
It's not, they are not the only state. It's Kano. Lagos, by the number of registered voters, has more voters than Kano. But Lagos will never come close to Kano in terms of the way people come out on election day. It's not simply the fact that there are many people there. There are many people in Kaduna